challenge met.
Someone brave enough to make him bleed. Two blades a smile, two blades a smile. He came to play with the wild and the vile, but there are eyes that stop the wind, and the game he loved turns quiet again. Two blades a smile, two blades a smile. He provokes kings without crowns, laughs at those who come close, for no living sword has ever made him fold.
But they say in Valenport,
Steel can burn the flame,
and every alley there
knows a harder name.
into the tavern of the setting sun.
He walked in laughing like he'd already won.
Then one gaze found him,
Sharp and still, and for the first time,
his pulse stood still.
two blades a smile, two blades a smile. He came to play with the wild and the vile, but there are eyes that stop the wind, and the game he loved turns quiet again. Two blades a smile, two blades a smile. It wasn't fear, it wasn't shame, it wasn't war or a crownless name. It was silence in the beast, a heart that stumbled and could not leave. Two blades a smile, two blades a smile. The world kept turning, but he stayed a while, for there are eyes that stop the wind. No sword can win what looked at him. Two blades a smile, two blades a smile. In the vibrant streets of Valenport at dusk, amidst gold and steel, voices and merchants, he walks as one who fears nothing, to steel wires to destinies in his hand. And then he sees her like light between walls, the white warrior beneath the ancient coat of arms. Eyes that do not yield, a posture of steel, the living star of the western city. So it's you, the famous one they speak of, the flame that guards the gates of Valenport. She sizes him up, brief silence, a short smile that doesn't give itself away. Stories are born for where you tread, and some never end. If you never heard, then you will hear. If you never see, then you will see. I am one who fulfills my duty, and you are new here. He laughs like winds that ask no permission, a name thrown to the world as a challenge. I am Vaelior, the so-called two blades. If you have never heard, then you will hear. If you have never seen, then you will see. For where you tread, stories are born, and some never end. So tell me, star of the city, who will show me your past? Or would you rather keep your secrets behind these walls of duty? She crosses her arms, firm, unmoved, but a laugh escapes. For an instant, stories are born. Stories are born for where you tread, and some never end. If you never heard, then you will hear. If you never see, then you will see. My profession doesn't allow me such outings, but I can recommend someone if you need me. And this captain, this paladin, would he accept a fight of steel with me? She laughs, now with warning in her eyes. Here we don't duel for vanity. And if I were you, I wouldn't challenge him. You would lose. Stories are born. Stories are born for where you tread, and some never end. Perhaps you haven't yet found someone like me. Light steps, serene presence, a man of faith between steel and destiny. Then waits seated. He bows like a game and turns his back without missing a beat. For where he treads, stories are born, and some begin like this. Between challenge and silence, between laughter and tension, between what was said and what is yet to come. Was he challenging you or courting you? Perhaps he was just trying. The wind passes and the city continues, but something has changed place. that the heat has arrived without summer calling. Travelers speak of a sky ablaze, where the horizon has begun to bleed.
Old paths tremble again, hurried steps cross the region.
There is a silence before night falls, and a forgotten name returns to the song.
It is not a storm, it is not the sea,
It is not the shadows of ancient darkness.
it is something ancient that has awakened again.
A living echo in creation.
Up high,
Something cuts through the sky like fire that time has not extinguished.
crimson wings,
Tear the veil of a world that has already forgotten it. No one dares to say it aloud, but everyone feels it in their hearts.
what's left beyond the ages now calls from the ground.
On the long route, stories intertwine. A merchant swears he saw pass an immense shadow over the dunes, where not even the wind dared to stay. In taverns, low voices fall silent when someone tries to name the sign. For there are things that should not be said when they return from the ancestral world.
It was not an attack, it was not war.
No city fell, but something observes the land from afar, as if decided. Up high, something cuts through the sky like fire that time has not extinguished. Crimson wings tear the veil of a world that has already forgotten it. No one dares to say it aloud, but all feel it in their hearts. What's left beyond the ages now calls from the ground. And on the walls of Valenport, attentive eyes follow the air, for even the star of the west felt the world breathe. And in the forest, something answers. In the mountains, echoes come from beyond, as if ancient forces were awakening, without yet knowing for whom. They say the sky doesn't forget what it saw. A traveler swore he saw above the dunes beyond the heat a shadow cutting through the wind like a flame without fear. There was no scream, nor fire, nor city burning, only the weight of something ancient that returned without warning. In taverns they tell stories that no one wants to confirm, for that which slept maybe walk again. It's not war, it's still a whisper. It's not death, but it's already pain. Under the crimson sky, it passes without touching ground or sea. And where the wind changes course, something begins to awaken. Under the crimson sky, it passes, the oldest fear has There are no flames in the cities, no ruins to show, but the oldest fear has returned to breathe. It wasn't seen in Valenport, but I swear they feel that something is watching from afar, choosing where to appear. Under the crimson sky, no one dares to call out for whoever names the ancient one can make it awaken. And if the world has already forgotten what it is to live under its skies, under the crimson sky, it passes without touching ground or sea. And where the wind changes course, something begins to awaken. Under the crimson sky, it passes, the oldest fear has Perhaps it will be too late when it decides to return. Not all fire announces, not all monsters want war. Some only remind the world who still reigns on earth. and in each echoing gesture, she was already shaping their decision. Whispers dance among candles, promises never affirmed, and whoever dared to doubt her learned to no longer speak. The regent, once firm, now lost in her veil between words that bind him and a smile that took him to heaven. And the eyes that see but do not speak feel the weight in the air, for there is something beyond enchantment that no one can touch. She does not take, she calls, she does not force, she leads, and when you perceive the plot, you are already far from the light. Under veils of silk and desire, she raises the throne in silence, and the power that was once his now no longer has an owner. Some still see the shadow, for behind the brilliance she created. But fragile voices don't break the spell that formed, guides bend without battle. Orders change without reason, and the whole city fails to notice its own prison. And in the streets as night falls, there are footsteps no one sees, a blade that never hesitates when someone tries to understand. Not all disappear, but those who know too much do not remain. She doesn't reign yet, but everything already revolves around her. And the man who was once a guide now is no longer Lord. Between wine, promises, and fear, she seals destiny in a veil. And the name that was once his is already fading beneath hers. And they say that on late nights he still tries to remember who he was before her. And when he stopped ruling, but the echo doesn't answer, and the throne doesn't look back, for in stone flower a new will grows and doesn't ask permission ever. that no one sees coming, a name whispered in empty corridors, and eyes that learn to observe. She walks where the light leans, like someone who already knows the place. Each gesture measures the weight of the world. Each silence teaches how to wait. There is no hurry in such calm hands, no truth in what she says. For there are paths that open on their own when someone learns to lead. And she smiles as if she wants nothing, but moves destiny without revealing. In subtle threads, she weaves the downfall of others without ever needing to touch. She ascends in golden shadows where few dare to see. For there is beauty that does not illuminate, it only teaches to blind. Halls echo empty promises, glasses raise toasts without realizing. There are voices that silently change sides when she decides who will win. The ruler no longer sees as before. His decrees no longer come from hell. Invisible hands are guiding power in subtle and lethal agreements. Some still feel the cold behind the charm and the song, but fear is rarely heard when it disguises itself as devotion. And she smiles as if she wants nothing, but moves destiny without revealing. In subtle threads, she weaves the downfall of others without ever needing to touch. She ascends in golden shadows where few dare to see. For there is beauty that does not illuminate, it only teaches to blind. And beyond the walls, the world breathes. Distant roots begin to change. There is a star in the west that shines, and she learns to observe. Valenport is still too strong, but every wall holds a gap, and even the world's most steadfast kingdoms yield to direction. There are no crowns in her hands yet, no throne she needs to seize. For the power that grows in silence needs no announcement. And when they finally speak her name, there will be nothing left to save. For everything that was once a choice will have ceased to be. Closed doors do not hold him back. Oh, so worthless here. Names cease to exist when he decides to act.
No face in the shadows,
no mark as he passes.
There are orders that are never spoken,
but will still be fulfilled.
Where the light does not touch,
He already is.
between the whisper and the end,
There is no escape, no return. When the path leads to him,
where the light does not touch,
He already is.
between the whisper and the end,
There is no return.
no blade shines,
No scream will sound.
no blade shines,
No scream will sound. For there are deaths that happen before they even begin. There are eyes that see him too late. There are voices that fail to try. Fear arrives before pain. When the shadow learns to breathe.
in the alleys of stone flower,
There are stories that no one wants to tell about a figure among extinguished candles and a destiny that will not change.
he doesn't hate, he doesn't hesitate,
There's no fury in his movements, only precise execution. Where the light doesn't touch, he already is. Between the whisper and the end, there is no escape, no return. When the path leads to him,
where the light does not touch,
he already is.
between the whisper and the end,
There is no return.
no blade shines,
No scream will sound.
no blade shines,
No scream will sound. For there are deaths that happen before they even begin. And when she calls, he answers without words, without questioning, for there are bonds made in the dark that not even time can break. And among all the faces that pass, there's only one he doesn't see as a target. But not even that is a promise, only an interval.
where the light does not touch,
He from thrones that dream too much. But power does not live in conquest, it lives in what remains at peace. High docks, attentive eyes, each sail brings a sign. Between arrivals and departures, I hold the central threat. From above I see the sea breathe, the city pulsate without ceasing. Mountains guard what still it will come, and the east calls what must as long as the star remains, no one will be left without a path. Ropes creak, tired wood, salt on faces, silence in our eyes. The sea still speaks softly, but it no longer tries to take us away. Sails furled, marks of time, days lost in the wind and the lash. But the port lights up in the distance, like a promise after the night. And no one says, but everyone knows that returning also changes who we are. After the storm, the breath returns among lights that never go away. If the sea breaks us and molds us, the land calls us back then. Loose steps, restrained laughter, coins changing hands. Some head towards the wine, others just want the ground. Stories remain in the shadows, promises are lost on the quay. Arms seeking shelter after too much time. Valenport. Every time. Still standing. Regent Aldoran has already been informed. Captain Aromir will receive it. Echoes among voices of the sea, and the step continues in silence. For those who govern without stopping. The breath rests, but the world does not stop. expires. There are paths no one notices. There are steps that leave no ground. And when the wind changes direction, it's not always just the wind that moves, no. A finger cuts through the dark space, too precise to be chance, too light to be carelessness. Quick, like a planned thought, it doesn't hunt out of hunger, it doesn't wander lost. There's intention in the restrained manner, and I've seen this before in stories that don't end well.
I don't follow a line, nor do I denounce.
The sky takes me down other paths,
A wide arc, an empty flight.
but I never lose the tracks alone. Sound pause, leaf that yields, breath that almost doesn't come, and then the encounter between stone and thirst, a secret kept beyond.
A hidden horse, escape prepared.
It's not a mistake.
It's a prediction.
Whoever rides like this didn't come for nothing.
Came to fulfill.
Or fail mission. The lit flame cuts through the night, and now I see more than before. He doesn't fear the dark entirely, but he also doesn't trust it enough. He follows trails that avoid the world, far from the roots that men have traced. Days pass, and I still follow him. There are stories that beg to be found.
And then a change in the air.
Stones meet their new owner.
Stones lower, no longer sound the same.
There are different echoes on its thrones and ashes.
Seralite,
Ambition dressed as promise. Oh, you've seen this kind of shine before, before the fall.
or the ascent that crosses.
And the figure bends, recounts. Shadows speaking with intention. Now I understand the invisible thread that connects cities through tension. not often fair.
shadows are.
A mission failed, a broken star.
A presence moved beyond the blade.
Not light, not dark,
Yet both obey.
he saw me move where none should see,
And bent the space surrounding me. Valenport,
the city stands,
not just by steel,
but unseen hands.
something there.
Defies the foe, a force that answers when they call.
Valenport,
Untouched, unbroken,
a deeper game.
has now been spoken.
Not by chance,
Not by fate alone, but something that protects its own. She turns with eyes that slowly gleam, a quiet spark, a growing scheme. So even you were held at bay. How very interesting, I'd say.
no rage, no fury in her tone.
Just sharper plans now being sown.
If shadows fail where they should reign,
Then I will walk a different No sudden moves, no reckless fire. Valenport feeds on that desire. We shift the path, we change the play, and let them welcome me one day. Aldoran, we soon shall meet through silver words, not through deceit, not yet.
Valenport,
The board is set,
a deeper war.
begins to spread,
Not with blood,
but with control. A silent hand behind it all.
Valenport,
Your light still burns,
but every flame,
eventually turns. And when it does, you'll never see the one who writes your destiny. The road is long, the game begins. Not every war is fought with sins. Some are won before they start, with patient mind and quiet heart. She walked beyond the gates, between strange across her gaze, without coat of arms, without name or country, but with a strength that could not be denied.
Aromir will blade and nerve,
Carrying the weight of living, but in the eyes of young Ayla, he found something
beyond victory.
And under leaves that time kept, they met without voice, without law. For neither thrones, nor blood, nor fear can contain what is born from an I know.
Neither crown, nor blood, nor law broke what
Grew there, and at the root where the world yielded to destiny, said yes.
But there are places that don't they forgive.
Not even the light that dares to bloom out in the shadow that the world forgot. Something ancient learned to see,
Careful without the form of peace.
made of hatred that insists on remaining. For where there is bond and warmth, there is something that wishes to break. The roar came, the ground trembling, and the steel sang its pain. Aromir rose against the end for what he calls love. But the shadow does not fear to wound, and in its claws it took what it saw, and the cry that tore the air was Ayla's.
When the world fell,
And even on the brink of the end, he returned once more. With the last breath he had, he plunged the blade where the night dissolves. But the shadow also paid its price, and the blood fell voicelessly. Three destinies in the same root, and silence took us all. Under the root where the blood fell, love and shadow became one. And what was light is shattered between the beautiful and what has no end. They say that nothing died there, that the earth kept what it saw, and the tree that grew there was never again as it existed. Its perfume calls the heart like an embrace that calls you to stay. But there is something in the touch of the wind that did not come to save you. If the path leads you through Elendar, and weariness weighs on your feet, do not sleep under gentle leaves, for the embrace that shelters you there does not always return to you. What you are. today.